My name is Jill Birtwistle. I was born and grew up in a small town perched on the border of West and North Yorkshire, a stone's throw away from East Lancashire, but have now lived in Australia for over 40 years. RSM Thomas Barlow was my maternal grandfather's great-grandfather. I first found him over a decade ago when I decided to research my mother's family history. I found that Thomas and his descendants had lived lives informed by strong conviction, heroic acts, and sometimes with failure and sadness. My search ultimately took me to Cardiff, Belgium, and also London. Fascinating enough, but my biggest surprise was, after retiring from the army, rather than putting his feet up, he decided to pursue a second career as a Methodist lay preacher and schoolmaster, finally ending up at the other end of the world, here in Australia. Around 1833, Thomas became a Methodist preacher and had lived for several years in Cheshire, finally moving to Deansgate in Manchester. It appeared he wanted a greater challenge and felt called to travel to Australia with his second wife, Sarah. His first wife, Betsy, had died in 1830, and he left their children, now young adults, in the care of their grandparents. They arrived in Port Phillip on the 11th of September 1849, just as the gold rush began to heat up. Thomas and Sarah had been tasked by the Wesleyan Methodist Association to establish a school in the colony. Thomas appears to have been an enthusiastic citizen in his new home, working as a Methodist minister and teacher running a Wesleyan Association school on Nicholson Street in Collingwood, Melbourne. It appears he remained a teacher there until his death, aged 73, in 1858. He also became acquainted with some of the movers and shakers in town, including Joseph Marsden and Henry Frensham. As well as being a pillar of the non-conformist community, he helped in improving infrastructure links across the River Yarra. In 1855, he is recorded as having addressed a meeting of interested parties proposing the erection of a bridge across the river at Johnston Street, which would connect Collingwood with Kew. His initiative ensured that the bridge was built. The original wooden structure was completed in 1858 and replaced by an iron bridge in 1879. The Johnston Street Bridge is still there, but was rebuilt in concrete in the 1950s. Thomas died on the 10th of May, 1858 at his home in Collingwood and was buried 3 days afterwards in the Melbourne General Cemetery. Sarah died 10 years later and was buried alongside him. Unfortunately, their grave has never been marked. The Heritage Trust of First the Queen's Dragoon Guards is leading on a campaign to ensure that this outstanding soldier and early Melbourne pioneer is given a fitting memorial in 2025, the 210th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo.